Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Coffee with Jim and James. James, as I normally would do at this time of the winter seasons, I would tell a wacky story, but actually I want to tell a real story that I'm very proud of. And when this airs, my daughter, my youngest daughter, Summer Shower, who was a guest on Coffee with Jim and James, is going to be starting, or will have started, with a fantastic company called Magnolia River in the marketing department. And she is, she just loves everything about it. And for me, our energy history, James, you probably know this, but my great-grandfather, Red Shower, started in the oil fields in Oklahoma. So for me to have, one of my children join the energy industry, and we were talking in the pregame also, it's nice to see kids coming out of college that want to get into the energy industry. We're such an industry that's very top heavy, people of, well, David's age, not mine, but I'm kidding.
That's right.
But, we're very long heavy on the graphs. So it's nice to see that. So I just wanted to give it a little bit shout out. But James, how are you doing this morning?
Doing well. That's awesome news. I've had insider information for a while now. Watching that come along, and I think I told the Magnolia team I would have hired her if I had a spot for her right now too. So y'all beat me to it. Summer's lightning rod. I'm excited to see her get plugged in. But this show isn't about Summer.
No,
we are truly excited to have her.
I bet. David and Josh join us from Magnolia River. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having us.
And I know you're probably wondering, why am I not in my normal setting?
Why don't you tell us, James?
I've missed traveling so much that I thought I'd travel into the office today. For those that don't know, David and Josh, I think I saw Josh 10 days ago, maybe, in Denton at the Texas Damage Prevention Summit. David and I were in Memphis. No. Were we in Memphis together, Josh?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
David, you were there too. Then we were in Charlotte together and Orlando together. And, so
Louisiana.
Been heavy travel season. It's
Louisiana.
nice to see y'all in the little boxes for a change. I won't lie. I love seeing y'all in person, but welcome to the show. Glad y'all are here.
Thank you.
Award-winning show.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did you say, James?
Award-winning show.
Award-winning. I saw the award presented. That was awesome.
David was live in Charlotte. Josh, were you?
I was.
Should I go get it?
NASCAR Hall of Fame for the reception.
Should I go get the award? I mean, I
Yeah.
have to do it. Should I go get it? It's
Grab
just
it. We're gonna continue on.
Yeah, y'all go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's do some intros. I hate to do this and still do it.
No, get it. Come on, it'll be fun.
That's newsworthy.
Yeah.
Speak amongst yourselves.
We all talk amongst ourselves. Gentlemen, I know you, but please, for our audience, would you maybe kick it off with an introduction, title, what you folks' areas of responsibility are, and that'll help our audience get a little bit more acquainted with you.
Josh?
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll kick it off. My name is Josh Lentz. I've been with Magnolia River for almost 7 years now. My background prior to Magnolia River was also in the utility side, a little bit different aspect, more on like the contractor side, doing water, sewer, and natural gas. So started in the industry when I was around 15. So finally got on board with Magnolia River, and it's been a ride ever since. So
2 years ago when he was 15.
Yeah.
That's it. He doesn't get old, does he?
No. Thank you, David. Thank you. But yeah, currently I'm actually in a business development group for Magnolia River. I'm an account manager.
Okay.
That is my title. We can go about titles all we want, but we wear many hats around here. David Love, of course, does as well. But I've worked in our GIS group, our inspection group, and work very closely with our personnel and our engineering group. So from inspection program management to inspector, to GPS field data collector, I've done a little bit of everything for the company. So I've wound up this year in business development. So it's been a fun ride dealing with the changing market as we've seen over the last year or two. So, but it's been good.
Yeah.
Thank you and welcome. David, go ahead.
Well, he's a super hybrid employee. I mean, he just serves so many roles. It's really neat to have people like that. And that's what we've been built on. Well, I'm David Love. My title is Senior Vice President of Pipeline Services. And I think when you get that and you don't really have a job description, it's, right there on the edge of, after looking back at 1978, November, that's when I started in the industry. That's 43 years, and it has really flown by. Looking back, so many relationships. That's what this whole thing is built on anyway.
Definitely.
We were talking earlier, it's a large industry, but such a small group, really, in a small world. And so been here for almost 18 years. In January will be 18 years. And Ronnie and I have actually been together since 93 doing different things. So talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
Wow.
43 years.
Yeah.
So you started when you were 7.
Yes.
I see.
Was right out of high school.
Well,
Right out of high school.
Not a big deal, but I did run down the hall.
Yes.
No, this is the debut on. We should have it in another box sitting next to our guests. I think
Like
that's
a
the
separate
fun.
Zoom box.
Yeah,
Its own
just where the
camera.
award just sits next to our guests so they can see it.
I like it.
Just kidding. Thank
like
you,
it.
SGA.
Oh.
I just realized we had never had it on the show, so now it's official.
Yeah, on this one, this show is going to be
It's a
action.
big one.
Yeah, this is
Very, very worthy too.
well. Thanks. You're too kind. Well, now wait.
Yeah, let's lean into that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, David, I want to lean into you. Being in our industry for 43 years is unbelievable. And your time with Magnolia River, almost from the inception, I mean, very close to it. Magnolia River has been around for 21 years.
Right.
If my memory serves me correctly. David, bring our audience a little bit into that world. What have you seen? What has changed over the years? Give us your insight, your perspective, whether the industry, Magnolia River, or how they both intersect. So the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, I've heard you say you like telling, stories, and that's kind of what this is. It's really a great story for my life and all of the people that are involved with Magnolia River. It's been a great journey. I did say looking back to November of 78, working for a great company, Allegasco, which is now Spire. That's where I met Ronnie Hoff, and he is our original founder, still on our board. You walk into our office indicator and it says, making a difference one relationship at a time. And I know I will leave somebody out of this because there's so many people to be thankful for. But, the passion that Ronnie displays for everything that he did, just like you guys, and then that bleeding over to all of our employees to just do what we do. And, starting back then, Ronnie in his living room, after we have to back up just a little bit, we had left Allegasco and went to a little company and started a brand new gas distribution system in 1996. And we were in a chicken house converting chicken houses one night. And he said, this has been fun. We ought to do something like this, that just building systems. And sure enough, 4 years later, he went to the living room, and I went to work for a great family-oriented company, Ed Young Sales, and traveled around and met so many people. And he had so much mentoring with Ronnie and I as we began to build this company, and then all of our employees, and then other great families like Paul Devlin and his family out of Florida, Charles, Stephanie, the people that put those, invest that time into to build it. But Ronnie was the first inspector. And then they said, hey, how about helping us out with some engineering? So Ronnie started drawing what he did before. And then our main client moved to using GIS instead of just AutoCAD. So we moved into the GIS world. And so we had inspection, engineering, and GIS. And, we start adding people like Chuck Compton, Terry Tatum, been here for years. And of course, Chris Stout, who we call Mother Magnolia, is still here, keeping all of us straight. And there's so many people that, like I said, I would leave people out if I started trying to name them all. But as we moved into the GIS world, you had the Hayden Strickland, the Matt Bonds that are probably a lot of our clients know, moving from up to 2020, we had to realize we're not just a family anymore, we're a team. And we had to really start growing, to the point of 500 or so employees at that point. From the living room was quite a difference with probably 13 to 15 offices across the U.S. And so there's been a lot of changes, a lot of growing pains, but it's been great.
But what a blessing it is to have those growing pains, because of the fruits of the labor that you all put into it. And David, you and I have been friends for years. We go back. Chuck goes, we'll give a little shout out to Chuck Compton. Go Tide. See that right there throws
really
all
makes
the Louisiana people off and all the Alabama people off. So love you, Chuck.
We love you, Chuck.
Yeah. We go way back, and you're absolutely right. One thing you mentioned, I just wanted to highlight on is relationships. And when we start to think about our industry and I'll call it the spider web, it's incredible. And again, lots of kudos to everybody over at Magnolia that you guys really do herald the idea of relationships in our industry. So you're great.
Mention, we got involved with so many different trade shows. SGA that was mentioned here. This show is award winning for SGA, right? But the AGA, APGA. But another quick little story. I think everyone remembers Mike Grubb from SGA. He had Ron and I traveling around doing some training and education stuff at one point, and we had started moving forward with Magnolia. And he said, so what school did you go to? And I told him what school I graduated from. So engineering degree? No. Was Ronnie engineer? No. How in the world do you run an engineering company without an engineering degree? And that's where, hiring great people and surrounding yourself with great people. And that's what's made Magnolia.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we've seen our groups kind of flock together a lot. Naturally is at Energy World Net, we're wired very similarly. And so you find yourself at a lot of the same tables and going out there and doing the right thing. And I'm not saying there are others out not doing the right thing. I'm just saying you can tell the focus on, people by people and do business with people they trust and respect. And when you're sitting in a committee meeting where it's your side job kind of to your real job, and next to you is somebody that's there every time and involved and you respect, you find yourself at a lot of those tables. So I've always respected that with Magnolia River. David, you in particular, you've always been somebody, when I saw you, it just felt like we needed to give each other a hug again, so
and we
I don't know how else to explain it, and we do, right? We pick up right where we left off, and that's always refreshing while you're out there. And I don't know who's going to take this one, but feel free, y'all can fight over it. But you've kind of brought us along with Magnolia River, and those maybe that don't know some of that story, and I love those stories. My favorite part of the show, or those kind of garage or living room stories. How have y'all seen the needs? You talked a little bit about GIS and moving into that space and things like that over the years. How have you seen the needs of your clients and change over the years?
I'll take that, James. I think really what we've seen over the years, and like we've seen already, I'm still fairly young in the industry, but I have a lot of great mentors in David and Hayden and Ronnie. So I've gleaned a lot of great information of how the industry was and my experiences currently in that. And I think technology is a big driving factor. It was mentioned earlier that we're kind of top heavy in this, and we have a lot of young personnel that are coming into the industry, and how do we get the knowledge out of the 20, 30, 40-year guys, and how do we get that into the hands of this new workforce? And that's really at the core where we've seen the industry really look to change across the organization, not just from field guys, but the office personnel as well. You know, there's technology and software that are starting to change how we do business. So I was talking with David not long ago about this and how big technology can help an organization, but how it can hurt as well. There's still people behind that. So when you have software and you have hardware that are changing different devices and how fast that's moving, is we got to think about the people behind that. So the training and not leaving an aging workforce behind when we get to this technology. So it's got to work across the organization. And I kind of made a parallel there with using a flathead when you really need a Phillips. You know, you've got to make sure that the tools that you're using, the people behind it are trained. So you're not using the wrong tool for the wrong job.
And they understand the why, right? I mean, we've all rolled out, I'm sure, our fair share of tools and features and all kinds of things that we thought were going to be the next big thing. And then we either poorly rolled them out or we didn't bring people along and we just dropped it on their heads. You know, we've went through a lot of that as well. We're a technology company more than anything at this point. And we just went through a big movement on user experience as a whole this past year. And so some of our sell was our number one users are our employees, because if they get frustrated on the job, then it's going to boil over in their tasks. So number one, are they in the right seat? Do they have the right tools? Do they, whatever that looks like for them? And sometimes adding another piece of technology onto something, for the technology minded people, they can pick up and maybe it's helpful. But for somebody who's already buried and overwhelmed by it, sometimes we think it'll automate it, fix it. All we're doing is adding to that complexity. So I concur for sure.
That's a really good point. Yeah, we started using the software internally and began to develop that. And it was so exciting to me to see how the automation and GIS could help. I have to call them the quick clickers, Josh and his group, because they get clicking ahead of me there. And I'd say, go back a couple of clicks and show me that again. But, the automation and the technology is so cool for an old operations guy like myself to see how much power is right there behind it. And, I see Josh doing a little demo with a couple of things, and I get so excited when I see the client say, wow, and you see that click that happens and you realize this is really going to help somebody. And that's exciting.
And I'm sure y'all do something similar, but, having user groups and these little test groups that before were luxury things, in our world, one day I'm going to start a user group or, I'm going to do this and try to bring some of these people, being able to put those things in front of more people, various generations, various people in the workforce, and getting that feedback, even pre-rolling out, with your own team, but also, with some of those prospective users, I think is really refreshing too.
Right.
It is. And that's absolutely key to any software there is, and trying to make it better is listening to the people that are using it every single day, and not just having a platform for that, actually listening to them. We just had a user group meeting over in East Tennessee for a concentration of clients. And it's great feedback, not only for us, but for the users to speak how they're using it within their organizations amongst them. And you can really glean a lot of information, and they can teach each other across the platform. And they get so much more out of that than us just listening to how to make the software better. It's about how to better utilize what's already out there. So
and I'm going to throw this one a little bit. I'll throw David and I under the bus on this topic in general, because we talk about knowledge transfer, the things that have been learned over decades and transferring those to the next generations. And I'll speak for David and myself. I think over the last probably 5 to 10 years, I would say that both of us have also learned ourselves from the younger generation. A lot of these, we're doing Zoom calls now like it's second habit. I mean, it's like no big deal. Where a year and a half ago, I was like, wait, where do what? Turn on the computer? So it's interesting about that though. And I really like the flow of the data going back and forth. And
I think, Jimmy, that with the younger groups, sometimes we just, or the younger generations, we think it's built into them that just because they're on Snapchat, they're going to be able to run a GIS client or an OQ, or a training software. Yeah, some things work, but that's where I think that why comes in. So if they understand the why and where that's really what some of these younger generations really want to know. And if nobody can tell them, then they're trying to find that answer. So getting some momentum with that group. And then a lot of the time with the more tenured generations, see what I did there?
I like that. Thank you.
They understand the why earlier, but it's more of the how, right? So being able to cater to those learning styles, the generations, all that is becoming really, really important. It always has been, but obviously we're under the gun a little bit now.
Well, we are.
There's a more focused effort now.
Deliberate, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let me throw. I want to know what's next for Magnolia River. You guys are moving and shaking. You guys are doing a lot in the industry. Magnolia River and Energy World Net. We see each other at. If we don't see each other at a trade event when we have them live or even virtual, we're like, wait, what's wrong? You guys are running and gunning. But what's next for Magnolia River? Give us some fun inside facts. Well, if you can, or outside.
I'll give a little bit of there, and then let Josh tell you a little bit about some exciting things I think that we've got coming up. But in 2000, like I'd said, we'd grown to around 500 employees. We did an acquisition, so our second one from back in 2013. We did one and did a lot more with GIS and geospatial. But in 2020, we were able to join the services of Lisco Leak Survey Incorporated, and we're actually renamed that to Survey Field Services to add additional field services, which additional will be announced as time goes forward. But in December,
maybe on the show,
sir,
maybe on the show one day.
Yeah. And then December of
award-winning.
Yes.
I love you, Josh.
In December of 2020, we were actually acquired by WP Warren Equity Partners, and that's a private equity firm. Ronnie, very thoughtful, has always taken care of the employees. And, with what we've experienced over the last almost 2 years now, COVID, there was a lot of concerns. Are we going to be able to take care of everybody? And thankfully, again, Ronnie is looking out for us. WEP has been a great team to work with. It says WEP Warren Equity Partners, and we feel very much like a partner working with them. And the looking forward to the things that are come. Hard to explain and express all of those because it is exciting, but a lot of new companies, and we've made some key acquisitions in other areas recently outside of the Southeast from where we've been very prevalent with our business, and excited about that.
I feel like I can
another
see
show coming up, James, right? Like you said.
Yeah, I feel like I can see legal and marketing in David's glass reflection. You're shaking their head like you've broken some kind of unwritten rule.
was only so much, but let Josh tell you a little bit more about, some of the services that we're currently.
Please.
Yeah. So we've always been prided ourselves on technology driven, leading edge type practices. And we're just going to continue that. We've gotten out ahead of a lot of trends and technologies and been able to test those and see really where the industry is going to head with that. And one good thing about that is we have that experience for our clients. This is not saying that all were bad, but we know the pros and the cons of each one, and we can apply those to different organizations. And our technology is really where our when I get happy is seeing our own internal software growth. So the more and more it gets out there, the more and more it gets utilized, the more we can make it better for not only the organizations, but the energy industry. So that's real big for us. We have we've done a rebranding of the software called GeoCurrent, and you can think of it as the Microsoft Office suite, but for the natural gas industry and really just the utility industry in general. So it's made up of several different applications that are out there to help, such as like your at-risk software. It helps in the planning and budgeting for your shrimp and dimp programs. And you have different type of risk analysis that are there. And we have construction management and documentation applications that are mobile and GIS applications that allow you to do digital as-builting. So it's very exciting to see where this goes. Our big star of the show, I guess you would really say, is our Flow GIS software, which is our compliance software. And we've just had a major update to it, changed how our user interface is and our mobile platform there. And we're really excited to get all of our clientele changed over and reintegrated into that. And our user groups were key in making sure that addition was made. So,
and those
I feel like Josh and I need to do like a nerd session.
Yeah, you guys would do good.
Jim and David can just sit there and watch.
We can dive deep. We can dive deep.
Yeah. I'm learning a lot more about RNG projects and stuff, from these young guys. So that's pretty good stuff.
That's an interesting field. Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. You and Josh could go geek out for days on this stuff.
Days.
And David and I will sit there like this.
Good job, kiddos.
Show me that click again.
Yeah, give the thumbs up.
Have we talked about the award yet? No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
The award winning?
Yes, that would be it's technology award winning.
Award winning. Somebody asked us at AGA what we did, and we laughed because most.
Hey, that's what Energy WorldNet did.
30 years. Yeah, we've been around 30 years, and this person obviously wasn't really, wasn't going to buy our product that day. And then Chris and I were at the booth, and they said, "What is it y'all do? Are y'all a T-shirt and podcast company?" And we said, "Yeah,
that's it."
So now it's an internal joke when somebody goes, "So what is your elevator pitch?" That's what we say.
Well, I think we only have about 400 and something employees utilizing your product. So
yeah, you do.
Long-time clients.
Yes, thank you very much. Absolutely.
Jimmy, I'm going to wrap this one up if you are ready.
I'm ready, man. Do it.
I hate to do it. This is the part that we hate because we could sit on here all day.
We could.
But you don't win awards that way. Guys, we do something to wrap the show. We've done a couple of different things, but this is kind of a new one for us. One thing we like to kind of push on our podcast is really to give it all away. What can you give to the audience? What can you give to the industry? Things of that nature. So you both have the floor. It's your time. Is there anything you want to share with our industry, with our audience? Just anything that's on your heart or in your mind right now. And y'all can fight over who goes first.
Well, I told Josh earlier today, I wake up in the mornings and read with my wife. And this morning, there was a verse that we reviewed, and James, and it just talked about our plans and our goals. And we are truly blessed with a great team of people, and it's always great to have goals, but we have to realize where all of our blessings flow. And I think that verse was there for a reason. And our goals, we just can't leave God out of them, because we've been truly blessed with so much, and so much to be thankful for. And I just wanted to share that, because like those kind of things happen for a reason, just before that.
That was great.
Love it.
Yeah.
Also my favorite book from the Bible.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just kidding. Josh?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going with the name there. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. I see what you did there.
Award-winning book from the Bible.
World War meaning book.
Yeah. James.
Josh, how about you?
Get us on track.
So David and I had like we discussed some things this morning just before we came into this this web series, award-winning web series here. So podcast, as you will. But we were just talking about some things, really, very, looking back at some our history and where we are today. And I think one thing that kept coming up is, of course, relationships. That's what we're built on. And but staying humble and persevering in the times that we're in. So growing with whatever opportunities that are there, and looking at the past to also learn from those. And living in the now. Tomorrow's not always promised. So let's stick with what we know right now, and keep moving forward. So
super thankful for our relationship with you guys.
Yeah, oh, so are we.
Likewise.
Yeah.
It's always refreshing to see y'all out and about. We've been blessed to work together for a long time. Hopefully we're blessed to do the same moving forward. Guys, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you coming on and putting up with our antics, playing along with the award-winning thing. But it has been nice to rub elbows with y'all out and about this past, quarter. Really, it seems like. Love what y'all are doing out in the industry. Very appreciated, and man, I'm really excited for the addition of summer as well on y'all's team. It'll be wild when we're all out there together next year, soaking it in. So
oh yeah, it's gonna be a busy year. And again, I want to wrap it up. Again, David and Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Audience members, whatever platform you're watching us on, if you do want to hop over to the LinkedIn platform and connect with these gentlemen, as well as follow Magnolia River, connect with as many people as you can, learn about them, learn what they do, you will be amazed. So on behalf of all of us here, we thank you for tuning in and putting up with our antics and our fun every day. As I always say every time, please, everyone, stay safe, and we'll see you next time on Coffee with Jim and James. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.